Here we go. I'll put this on the screen to kind of set the tone for this video. Just look at this image, guys, and let it sink in a little bit, okay? We finally got a news update for Street Fighter 6. Game Informer got an exclusive look at a new control scheme. They went down to the Capcom HQ, and we even got some looks at the more on the nostalgic costumes for Chun-Li, Ryu, and Ken. But these dynamic controls, man, this is great. Don't worry, guys. Capcom heard all of your complaints. You guys were complaining the modern controls were still way too difficult. You had to use the direction buttons. You had to think. You actually had to play the game. But don't worry. Capcom has remedied this, and they're giving you a brand new control scheme called Dynamic Mode. Now you don't even have to play the game. The game plays for you. Watch out, Daigo. I'm coming for you. I found my controller setup. That's right. Yeah, that's right, guys. When the Street Fighter 6 beta came out, we knew about the dynamic controls already because all of this stuff was data mined. Capcom is officially talking about it. So now I can explain to you guys exactly how it works. But first, let's just go over those Game Informer videos themselves and the content that they show.
触ったことない方とかのプレイを見てたときに、ボタンをこうすごいマッシュするのを見たんですね。でも、
He was saying he was watching people be
対戦
scrubs.
ゲームに反映されると、その場でこう空振りをする、相手に攻撃が当たらなくて空振りをするっていうシーンがすごく多かったので、攻撃したいってことを意思で表示をしたら。
So he's saying, and this is true. Whenever you go to any conference or whatever, you see people that have never played fighting games before. Of course, they'll mash buttons, and they're saying, "Hey, people are mashing buttons, and that's cool." And modern controls allows you to mash buttons, but they notice that they're whiffing buttons a lot, right? Hitting air or whatever. So they wanted to take it to the next level, the dynamic controls, and have it so the controls are basically it's like playing as the CPU. Where the controls will do something depending on what's going on in the game. Your distance from the opponent or what their opponent is doing. I'll go more in detail on it, but basically you get to control yourself as the CPU, if you will. And that's why they call it dynamic.
距離が離れていたら飛び道具打つとかっていうところをこうなんていうのかな。あくまで想像ではしかないんだけど、やりたいと思っているコードが反映されるようにちょっと作りたかったっていうのが。
So like I said, they really want this game to be for absolutely everyone. You know, modern controls is going to be the middle ground now. Before we thought that was the easy mode, but modern controls is basically the training wheels for someone who wants to start to learn the game and then get to the point where they get to classic controls. Dynamic controls is literally for someone who just wants to see how the game is. You know, it's going to be for if you want to play against, I don't know, your grandma or something, right? Or your 5-year-old nephew. Or if you're someone who's just like, I wonder what this character is capable of doing, that the dynamic controls is available for that. So, you know, it's mostly not for us, right? Us as fighting game players, but it's for people that have never touched a fighting game before. And they just want to kind of see what the game is about and have an idea how the character plays. And then they can upgrade to modern controls and then go from there to classic controls.
狙いとしてあります。はい、ダイナミック操作っていうのは、
They're much easier to use in comparison to modern classic.
簡単な操作になっていて、ちょっとオンライン対戦とかでは使えないんですけども、ローカルで。
So if anyone has any concerns, they confirmed right here that dynamic controls cannot be used online at all. This is strictly an offline mode, only in versus and arcade mode. So this will be, you know, for couch co-op, playing against your buddy, right? Or playing by yourself in arcade mode. So you guys don't have to worry about hitting up ranked and some dude is going to go in playing like the level 8 CPU. Yeah, it's local only, guys, so don't worry about it. To be honest, though, when I explain to you guys how it works, I really don't think it's that much of a concern anyways. But I know people are getting salty about modern controls, so they're going to be more salty if everything is auto combo. So yes, it is confirmed offline. Okay, look at this. This is so perfect. Okay, so the producer is using dynamic controls, all right? And then look at the director. So the director, look at his posture. He's holding the controls. He has access to all the buttons, and he's got that sweaty, you know, skill-based matchmaking face. Look, he's ready. And even look at Ryu in the VS screen. Look how serious he is. I'm gonna mess you up. You're using inferior controls. You're not as elite as me. And then look at the producer. He's got that smug look on his face. One of his hands is not even on the controller. He's playing with one hand only because he's so relaxed and chilled. This game is effortless to him. He can text message his friend while playing and he'll still win the match. That's what dynamic controls allows.
Everyone's getting fired up and we're just
It's
ready to
perfect.
get started.
Director's like, I better not lose. Let's look at his face. Look at the stats, guys. Look, his hand is underneath the table. He just has one finger. One finger, guys. So he's playing Luke, the dynamic controls.
All right, first round. What's going to happen?
All right, let's go.
He's trying not to laugh, man. Look at Luke. He's doing jumping combos. He's through him.
At the radar, up and running.
Ooh, nice.
Look, he's dodging the fireball.
That's some big juicy damage on that counter.
Look at the director.
Can't afford to get hit again.
Oh, it's so good. Look, guys, his hand is not in the directions. I can't stress this enough.
They back the opponent.
He's not even moving. It's so good. The producer just beat him. Okay, on that round. So, okay, let me explain again exactly what dynamic controls does. Okay, so your 3 attack buttons are now auto buttons. So if you press the square button, the light attack button, if you're full screen away with Luke, you'll just start tossing fireballs. But if the opponent jumps in on you and you press it, your character will uppercut and anti-air them, right? And if you're really close to the opponent, you'll throw them or you'll do a block string, a safe block string that ends with a fireball on block. It's whatever the game needs you to have. If you press the other button, you'll literally jump in on the opponent and start doing combos on them. It will jump with the right button too, so if you jump over the opponent, it will use medium kick to cross up with Luke, or heavy kick if he lands in front. The other button as well is same thing. It's just all auto combo stuff depending on what your opponent is and how far you are from the opponent. The other buttons on the controller is just parry, drive, impact. There's even a super button, and the super it does is what you need as well. If you're full screen for Luke, you'll use his level 1 fireball super. If you're close, you'll use the beast mode, baby, the level 2 or the level 3. It's just, like I said, you're temporarily controlling the character as if you were using the CPU. It's kind of like, I don't know, a choose your own adventure thing. It's really funny. And that's why you don't need to use the direction buttons at all.
Man, I'm getting stressed out and I'm not even playing.
Here we go again.
Instant jumping.
See, crosses up.
All right, who's gonna swing?
Target combo. Nice. See, he's pressing the same button. He's doing fireballs.
It's important to not
Will this super art connect? Now can they finish the job? Player 2 is in a pretty good situation.
Goes for low. I'll probably throw him too. He went into super.
Look to apply pressure here.
Oh no, not like this. Not like this.
Oh, nice reversal.
Here we go.
We should have tournaments with these dynamic controls, man. It'd be so hilarious.
Touch may decide the round.
See? Look at that jump. See? It's just like the CPU. Look, he threw his fireball and the controls made him jump because it beats the fireball. Look. Look at that. Perfect spacing. It's like literally playing against the CPU at level 8. It's amazing, guys. Look how happy everyone is, guys. Look how happy the producer is. He all that years of training from the director. He spent 10 years learning how to play Street Fighter. All that is down the drain. And he beat him with not even one hand, one finger. That's all he needs. And all of a sudden he's the best. Look at the happiness Street Fighter 6 brings, guys. This is amazing. Now literally everyone can play. It's great, guys. Because I was trying to, this is a newer build
Getting fired up and we're
of Street Fighter 6, so I wanted to see if there was anything any updates to the game, right?
round. What's going
But
to happen?
right here,
What's going
so you see Luke? Guys, you guys messed up, you know that, right? Capcom has already started Luke buffs. Luke was not able to cancel his forward hard punch in the closed beta. Now he can. Special move cancelable. You know what that means? It means he can go into his level 1. It means he can go into his level 3 after doing a special. So all those tier lists you guys are making out there, everyone's saying, oh, Luke is not as good as Street Fighter 5. Luke is so weak now. That's all backfiring. Capcom is listening. You guys gotta be careful what you say. because Luke's already getting buffed. You know, another thing too, I noticed in the very first gameplay trailer with Luke, he's able to also cancel the forward hard punch as well. And they reverted it back in the closed beta, but for some reason now they brought that back. So I don't know. I already thought Luke's forward hard punch was strong in Street Fighter 6 because it's +1 on block, but that was like the only thing I noticed change-wise that they did on this build. Look what he said, guys. There's a rule set when you use each button. However, it doesn't matter. We're expecting the players who use this control type won't think about these rules. Like, what is that supposed to mean? He's saying people that use dynamic controls don't think.
That's
We want something interesting to happen without them worrying about it. Look, guys, Blanca's in the background. I guess Blanca's in the background of the stage if he's not playing. That's awesome. But he's in his mascot costume. I'm pretty sure that's Blanca. And not somebody just wearing the costume. Look how happy he is, guys. This stage looks amazing. Whoa, look at Blanca! Look at Blanca's clapping with his feet, guys! Look! Look how happy he is, guys! They're gonna ban that costume from the CPT. You guys see Blanca? Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I think that's Jimmy's mama right beside him.
So smart.
She's dancing with him.
She has no idea about dynamic control.
I'm pretty sure she cheers for him when he's playing. Once again, Capcom is making sure that there is absolutely no excuse for somebody who either doesn't have the time or wants to put in the time to learn the game. There's going to be some control type for whatever player you are. And in terms of content, you know, I think that's like the two biggest problems with fighting games on why they're so niche is accessibility and content. Those are like the two biggest things. So Capcom is really going after that content-wise, you know, the World Tour, Battle Hub, Fighting Grounds, and then now accessibility. 3 control types where literally the game can play for you if you don't want to learn anything. So I like it. And we don't have to worry about, you know, dynamic controls if you guys are concerned about it competitively. They outright said it's not for competitive, and we know it's arcade and versus only. I completely forgot about this. Look at this. This should be the game cover for Street Fighter 6. Look how badass this is. This looks like a rap album. It just needs the, you know, parental advisory, you know, explicit. Look at Ken. Look how serious he looks. Oh, Ken should be the main character. No, guys, Luke is the main character. But don't worry, Luke's cool too. Just not as cool as Ken. Ever since we saw the leaks on him, the Hobo Ken, that's just like the most interesting story that we want to know more and how much the character has changed. And I just feel like, man, Ken could have easily been, you know, the main character of Street Fighter 6. But, you know, they wanted that, the future, the new school characters, right?
The cover art, created by designer Goro Tokuda, features one of the original World Warriors, Ken, sporting his World Warriors, Ken.
So we see some concept art for Ken too. This looks more like, you know, the traditional look for Ken. We can see kind of the red bleeding on the gi on the edges, right? On the bottom. He's not wearing any shoes, by the way. No sandals. But it still looks like Ken. They tried different hairstyles for him too. This doesn't look like Ken going into hiding. You know, it doesn't look like he's working for a construction crew or something like that. But it's blood on his gi from his alleged crimes. Man, you guys are looking way too much into this.
Had extensive conversations.
Oh, so we see the nostalgic costumes again. These were actually shown during San Diego Comic-Con behind closed doors, and then Capcom tweeted them out. We saw nostalgic costumes for Chun-Li, Ryu, Jamie, and Luke. And we see it in motion here. Let me see if I can phrase it on the right frame so we can see it. What do you guys think? When you look at Ryu, you know, the nostalgic costumes for Ryu and Ken in Street Fighter 5 were more of like a Street Fighter 1 kind of look, you know? Because Ryu had, you know, the red hair color, like the Street Fighter 1 style, but now it does look like Street Fighter 6 Ryu is trying to cosplay as Street Fighter 2 Ryu. The pants look really baggy.
Conversations with the developers, chatted about the lessons the team took from Street Fighter V's disappointing launch, and even learned about
you guys know that all of these nostalgic costumes is going to be like a big pre-order bonus, right? For the game, pre-order now and get nostalgic costumes for every single character. This is day 1 DLC easily. Oh yeah, the Ken nostalgic costume. What do you guys think about the Ken nostalgic? look at the hair. You can see each individual hairline. It doesn't look like they put, you know, a mop on top of his head. You don't have like the He-Man hair or just like the one polygon on it, or the banana hair. Yeah, the banana Ken. You can tell they took a careful look at his hair this time around. Game Informer also, they're going to be releasing videos and information throughout the week with their exclusivity, but they also have a subscriber kind of article that reveals some more information and details after they interviewed the devs. So Scotia here summarize some of that for us so we can talk about it really quick here. So he says, Hobo Ken came about because of the team feeling like Ken's stable life was causing him to lose a reason for fighting. And this is their way of having him step up. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they felt that his life was too perfect, you know? He was the American champ, or was it the North American champ? And he's rich. He's got a family, so he's got closure. And he's running a business. Like, everything's going good for Ken. So I guess they just wanted to turn it upside down. Him getting soft. I mean, Ryu, he kind of has Ryu's always kind of searching, always learning, right? And he's becoming a master. But I guess they just didn't know what to do with Ken this time around. They want to create a plotline that explains why Ken is important and give him purpose. The story will also be tied to the characters close to him. Capcom won't say why he's on the run, but Ken's arcade mode starts with him being interrogated about a terrorist bombing. First off, this confirms that the arcade mode is going to have story in it. That's good. That's good news right there. It's interesting. So there'll be story mode at the beginning and at the end, it sounds like he's saying. So that's awesome. So maybe a lot of the story will be in World Tour, but there will be a reason to play arcade mode. And we were talking about this the other night on what Ken's story going to be. You guys are saying it was something hardcore like murder. But this terrorist bombing is really serious too. And it will tie in with Luke, which we'll find out in a second here. Also, Capcom is still working with Udon. It says Ken's backstory will be fleshed out through a special 4-page issue by Udon, so Udon Comics, set prior to the game. Capcom are working very closely with Udon and are open to more spin-off material beyond the Ken miniseries. Like I said, just more extra stuff, the better, on any type of media. You know, Street Fighter 4 had that anime that was included with the game, and hopefully we'll have, you know, comics, manga, another anime. I'm sure Street Fighter 6 is going to be really huge, guys. Any opportunity to like flesh out the lore, see your guys' favorite characters or cameos is cool, man. Street Fighter is cool. Capcom's done a great job throwing their IP on like every single game. We see Ryu running around in Fortnite or Brawlhalla or card games, or even working with SNK on their like mobile games, right? So more content, the better. So yeah, this is going to tie in with Luke. So it says Luke will play a large role in the prequel comic. So that actually makes perfect sense, because it says that Ken is being interrogated by a terrorist bombing, and we know that Luke is working with a private military that is like anti-terrorism, because we all know from Luke's storyline that Luke's father saved a whole bunch of people from a terrorist bombing himself, and that's why Luke got into it. So it makes sense that there's going to be a big interaction between Luke and Ken. And I like that Ken is part of like the main plot of the story, especially if Luke's the main character. So it all kind of ties in, and that explains why we see those quotes from Guile interrogating Ken as well. Everyone wants to know what's going down. It also says it's probably safe to say that there will be more costumes down the line. I mean, no one's surprised. They're preparing for more staff members on the development team for the game post-launch compared to Street Fighter 5. I mean, I would hope so, guys. So there you have it. At least they're going to have a big team. I mean, Street Fighter 6, guys, I think we're going to be playing this game for many, many years down the line. Maybe longer than 4 or 5, depending on how successful it is. I hope this means that a bigger development team also means that they'll be able to address things quickly, where more frequent patches, maybe 2 a year. Obviously, more costumes for everybody, because a problem with Street Fighter 5 I had was that they were too biased on which characters get costumes. They always pick, you know, Jury costumes or Chun-Li costumes. We want costumes for every character, even the less popular ones. Like I said, we know that the game's going to launch with 18 characters, and I think 6 is just a tad too small per year, considering how many characters are missing. And I think 8 characters per year would be perfect if they have the right size team for that. It's exciting that they're going to have a big team that will continue to work on Street Fighter 6. That means that, you know, Capcom is taking it really seriously. They want this game to last for a really long time. So yeah, it's just a cool news update, small update from Capcom. Once again, I don't think we're gonna get another huge update like character reveals and stuff until Game Awards in December. I think that's the next big update. But I'll keep you guys posted on this Game Informer stuff throughout the week. If they keep releasing videos with more information, we'll talk about this more.